Hello, everyone. You are welcome to Anchor Network, where you get reliable and authentic news that are so crucial to you. I say big thank you to everyone who has been part of this channel and who has taken time to subscribe. And if you are yet to subscribe, I say please click the red subscribe button and also the bell icon. The bell icon will allow you to get notified anytime we publish any news. Northern Coalition vows to reclaim jobs from Southerners in the North. The coalition of northern groups CNG weekend accused Southerners of taking over jobs traditionally meant for Northerners, saying it was the reason why scores of young men from Jigawa had moved to Lagos last week in search of greener pastures, only to be arrested by law enforcement agents. While the coalition vowed to ensure that all northerners and northern states and local governments, as well as companies operating in the region, comply with the provisions of local content regulations, CNG accused northern leaders of sacrificing the interests of the region on the altar of selfish political aspirations. The CNG, in a statement by its spokesman, Abdulaziz Suleiman, said it took its time to review the state of the nation before arriving at its decisions. Part of the statement reads, "We observe that Northerners face all sorts of humiliation and rejection, like the latest incident in Lagos, because they are forced to seek alternative opportunities by the following realities. The bulk of opportunities meant for Northerners in the North has been inadvertently taken up by people from the South, while Northerners are denied the opportunity of employment to even the most menial of jobs in the South. All vacant positions available in the North, as guaranteed by the local content clause of the federal character provisions, have been surrendered to Southerners. Whereas the local content clause stipulates that all levels 01 to 06 positions in every private establishment must go to indigenes of the host communities. In the North, the reverse is the case. Thus, most every position in almost all the various banking and financial institutions, insurance houses, telecom agencies, educational institutions, and other private concerns spread all over the North are taken over by Southerners at the expense of indigenous communities. Sadly, even vacancies in public institutions and all government agencies and parastatals, including several state and local government establishments in the North, are occupied mainly by people of other regions. We observe that except for a few northern political leaders like Senator Ibrahim Shikarau, all federal and state authorities, the entire political, religious, and cultural establishments in the North were silent on the rivers and Lagos affairs. So guys, this is what these guys are bringing again. They are always bringing one story after the other, every day with one story. There's this rivalry even in this country. When you go outside the country, you talk about white supremacy. You talk about people saying, no, we don't want foreigners in our land. They are coming up to take up our jobs. You see people from Africa, from other countries, trooping into this so-called Western world and Western countries. And once they get there, all these foreigners begin to get jobs that even the host countries, most of their citizens don't get such jobs. And people are really taking time to see, okay, what are the problems of all of these things. Even when you talk about menial jobs, because the menial jobs, even in all those Western world, menial jobs, the host citizens, they wouldn't want to take all those jobs. And most of the time, you see the foreigners too from all other countries of the world coming into those Western world. You see most of the foreigners, they strive to even get education. And at the end of the day, one thing about in these developed countries, that once you have the qualification, it's not like back home, that even when you have the qualification, you will not be given some of your entitlements, because they will believe that no man, no man in our own setting. Let me use Nigeria as a yardstick. But over there, once you have the qualification to a very large extent, of course there could be some some things that they might want to look into, but it's going to come up in a subtle way. But once you have the qualification, they will employ you. And you see that the citizens of all these host countries, most of them don't even go to school, most of them in most cases. So the foreigners strive to even get the jobs, to get the education, even menial jobs that even the host citizens wouldn't want to take. You see all these foreigners taking those jobs. So those are the things that we've been experiencing, or we've been hearing about all of these things. But coming down again to Nigeria, it is something that we are even hearing again that is not happening. Of course, they've divided the country into two regions, mainly the southerners and the northerners. That is what you hear. So now they are coming up again that most of the jobs are being taken. That most of the jobs in the north Nigeria are being taken by the southerners. They will come, and just because of what happened over the weekend, when a trailer was loaded with some young guys and young boys with about 40 something bikes, you know, coming to Lagos in their numbers. But at the end of the day, I learned that they have settled that issue because they were able to, the Lagos government was able to look at the whole thing, and they said they profiled them, they checked them that, okay, these guys are really genuine, they came for greener pasture, that Lagos is expecting, is welcoming everybody. But something that came to mind, I'm just trying to digress a bit, something that came to mind when I was, going through all of this was that they said they profiled them. You profile them, and meanwhile, we don't even have biometric. You don't have a biometric data in this country. That even when you check somebody, okay, the day the person was born, the day the person, the activities of such individual from the day the person was born, see date, we don't have all of that. Somebody will just tell you, I came from so person. You can't. How did you profile them? How did you know that really these guys are really from Nigeria? They are not from other countries. And I was just like, you can imagine, everything was just a kind of wash. They said they've profiled them, and we are trying to welcome people. Lagos is a whatever, they are priding themselves. Lagos state government is priding itself that the state is welcoming people. How did you profile them? That we have profiled them, that we have seen that they are genuine and all of that. And that one, is a question mark. How did you profile them? Can you really say of a fact that, okay, this is the address this person is coming from? Okay, this is a, like in Nigeria, we don't even have anything that they call a social security number, which we have over there. But what does it take for us to have all of those things? You will see that they will start a process before after another regime will come, or they will transfer the person who is in charge of that. And like this issue of a national ID card, they'll tell you, okay, this thing, at the end of the day, everything will just go that way. Nobody will not even continue with that. So how did you profile these people? Because they told you they are from this place, and you just check them, and that you just interview them, and that's it. You just allow them into the system. Well, good luck to them. So it is as a result of what happened over the weekend concerning this the boys that came in, with the truck, filled with truck of these people and their bike coming to Lagos. That is why they are reacting. That's invariably that most of the jobs in the in the north, that the southerners are taking it. So they wouldn't have known all of this. They wouldn't have observed this if not that something that happened, this particular incident that happened over the weekend, they wouldn't have known all of that. So they are just saying, according to the law or constitution or whatever, the content, whatever, that level 1 to level 6 is be given to the host community and all of that. And it's the same thing, just like the example I gave, in the Western world, when people come there, they say they have taken their jobs. Like if you talk about most of these institutions, most of these companies, it is a well-known fact that these guys, they don't go to school. The most of the time they do is just to, they will get most of this nomadic way of doing their rearing cows and all of that. That's where majority of them, that's what they see as their profession. And you talk about this Amajiri, they don't go to school. We know all of these things. And again, even the ones that we see, they will see like, okay, they are in education. How do they rate them? They will come with a quota system. When when somebody is entering a university, writing jam, they will be telling you that people from that side should when they have 90, they have 80, they will enter into university. But when it comes to the southerners, if you don't have 250, if you don't have 300, you can't enter university. So how do you now relate that you are now complaining about the Southerners taking your job, and in most of these well-established institutions that you rarely see northerners getting all those jobs. And now that even the little ones they are supposed to take, yet they are not allowing them. So now they want to do a kind of a reprisal, a payback, that all the jobs in the north, now they are making sure that they are going to get it back from the southerners, that they are going to reclaim jobs from southerners in the north. Good and fine. Good luck to you if you can do that, which will be okay. But at the end of the whole thing, the only set of people, or the only institution that can settle all this rivalry, all these talks and all of that, it's the people at the center, and all the governors too. They need to do something about all the things happening, because it's like, even as a nation, as a state, we are just retrogressing. We are retrogressing. Which state can you even pinpoint that is really doing well, that you will not even see some flaws here and there? It is this Lagos everybody wants to go to and all of that. But there's nothing wrong in going anywhere. But at the end of the day, if the governors themselves, they will be able to do a lot of things and making sure that things are working for their people. And at the end of the day, we now relate it to the center, because it is the policy from the center that will still affect everybody, whether we like it or not. The governors, they have roles to play. They have they have duties. They have their own duties on how to make sure that every state is well okay. If every state is well okay, definitely the center itself too will be relieved of all this stress. Then if you will not talk, why can't the center too? Because all the state governors, they are under the center, they are under the president. What kind of meeting do they hold? What advice did they give themselves? What are the things, what are the plans on ground? So making sure that things are working well. What do they discuss in their fake meeting? Is it fake meeting or neck meeting? What do they discuss? Is it just there to go and read rhetoric, to go and read the minutes and all of that, and everybody goes back to his states and nothing is being done? No action being taken. They will just be doing, we did this, we promised, I don't know, we have said this, we have said that. But all of those things, we don't see all of this. And at the end of the day, it is we, the masses, that are the receiving end. Okay, let's say, for example, that the people that they profiled, the boys that came up all the way from Jigawa north to Lagos, let's assume that they were well profiled. If really that their state, the state government, is doing the right thing, they wouldn't have left that place in the first place in their large numbers. So what do all these guys, what do they really do? What do they really do? The only thing you hear is just taking a security vote, getting a huge pension after they must have served for 4 years. And we, the masses, we are looking at all of them. We are not even doing anything. The next thing is just for, oh, it is my person, it is my this and that. Okay, now, if we are in a state, let's say, for example, in a state, all the atrocities happening in your state, if you can hold your governor responsible, and all this a huge amount of money they are taking, because when you talk about the lower and upper chamber, at the federal level, what about the state? They have a state assembly as well, and you see what they receive. Why are we not talking about these guys too? Why are we just leaving them? And a governor will serve a term. You'll be baffled with the kind of pension they have signed into law that he will be getting. What they did when yet the state that he has served is just in total mess. So how can you equate the pension the person is getting just 4 years compared to what is on ground? I think that is where we still need to start all of these things from. So if really the state governors are really doing their jobs very well, wouldn't have seen what is happening. Of course, people can move anywhere. You can move to anywhere to do your business and all of that. And you see that all the states will be booming. Because these guys are not doing what they are supposed to do. They are just all playing to the gallery. That's why we are experiencing all these problems here and there. So from these guys, that's what they said they are going to do. They are vowed to reclaim jobs from southerners in the north. I would like to hear from you what you think about all of this. Please put down your comments in the comment section and let us provide solution on how to move this country forward. Thank you very much. Bye.